This is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Thursday. We've got 16 minutes to do a short podcast. I'm your host, Sam Wu. This is the Wu Report. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Oh, do we have a podcast for you today? Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios here at the Bunker. But I'll be at American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place, across the street from the Prudential Center, next to Championship Plaza for our big opening night podcast. We've got a lot of special guests coming to American Whiskey tomorrow. And at the end of the podcast, I'm going to reveal a little special that's going on. Our featured guest tomorrow is Chico Resch at American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place on the corner of Championship Plaza, across the street from Prudential Center, Devil's Den. We will be there. Lots of TVs, lots of speakers, lots of fun shenanigans. We're going to bring it. I hope you're all going to be there. We've got some drink specials specifically for you. But before we begin, because we only have 16 minutes here. I mean, I got the shot clock up right now. 16 minutes to talk about Jesper Bratt's 16 minutes of total ice time. The question from a good friend of the podcast, Ryan Novozinsky of NJ.com. An innocent question after the Devils got beaten 5-2 at Wells Fargo Center last night. A stunning victory for the Philadelphia Flyers. Jesper Bratt with 2 primary assists, 16 minutes of ice time. Yes, that Jesper Bratt that is in a prove it to Tom Fitzgerald, somewhat of a contract year, because the Devils still remain, will have his rights for another year after. But it's kind of a show me something. And Ryan Novozinsky actually asked a good question, really. Ryan Novozinsky at NJ.com is known for his high heater, high fastball questions, not the softball questions that we normally hear. And that's not to put down some reporters that ask softball questions, because I like fastball questions. I like the conversation. I like accountability, freedom of the press. I love Ryan Novozinsky asking those tough questions. I love reporters in general that ask tough questions, like Rick Westhead up in Canada when the Hockey Canada scandal broke out, or the scandal that broke out with the Chicago Blackhawks. That is accountability, folks. That is real journalism. And that's what we want here, because we want this team to improve. But Ryan Novozinsky did not ask a high heater, 103 mile per hour fastball, or a Zdeno Chara 106 mile per hour shot on goal. He actually threw a changeup, really. And it's not a bad question about the 16 minutes of total ice time of one of your star players that's in somewhat of a contract year, and he just walks off. Didn't even answer it. Did not even answer the question. And that's kind of surprising, Lindy Ruff, of a veteran coach to walk off. Now, I can understand why he was pissed off. The Devils lost. They lost badly, really. And a lot of blocked shots stopping the New Jersey Devils. I mean, give the credit to the Philadelphia Flyers, John Tortorella. I mean, we were down there at Chickies and Pete's last night, met a few Devils fans. We did a couple interviews. We had a pretty good time. We showed up, but the Devils didn't really show up. Looking at some of the comments here, Jonathan says Rick Westhead and Katie Strang are the best of the best. Yeah, we want real journalism, and we're starting to get that. And we want more coverage, too. I like to see Robert Aiken out there, NorthJersey.com. But you know what? All these newspapers or digital whatever are just kind of budget cuts, being cheapos, El Cheapos, which I understand in this kind of environment. Little Fireboy 87, big shout out to you. Better location. Maybe we get a better guest this year. Yes, it is going to be awesome. We love Taj. We grew up at Taj, but we're going off to college to American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place tomorrow. I'll be there very early to set up, but the shenanigans will probably start around 4 o'clock. I know the Devils are doing the red carpet event. We will be near there, and you can listen to us. You can watch us outside. You can come inside, drink all the beers. But Ryan Novozinsky asked the question, and here are my thoughts. I'm going to kid around a little bit, so I'm going to preface that. Well, anytime somebody's on a contract year, you kind of want to hold them back a little bit on the statistics. That's a joke. Not really funny, but I'm kidding around. But the Devils really couldn't really get inside the no-fun zone of the Philadelphia Flyers. Anything they tried, putting shots on net, trying to get positioning in front of Carter Hart, it just wasn't happening. There was a lot of beef out on the ice. I like that early on. The Devils trying to answer the bell, but you got to do better. You absolutely have to do better. You got to play with more urgency. You got to play with more grit. But getting back to the question at hand, Lindy's walk-off over the 16-minute question was kind of like, what are you doing? Is it because you feel the need to bench Jesper Bratt early on so you can get him going for the rest of the season? Is that what motivates him? Like last season where you bench Bratt and suddenly he's having a career year because he gets pissed off? And now you're pissed off, Lindy, because a simple question. I mean, I didn't even think it was a bad question at all. I didn't even think it was a bad question at all. I mean, Nate Milbank says, my brother told me last night while watching the game, I would rather suck right now than get better after a rough start rather than come good out of the gate only to crash and burn. And I couldn't agree with your brother because last season 8-5-3, you beat Tampa Bay in their own building, two-time Stanley Cup champion. Well, sorry, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. And then the wheels came off. Wasn't good. Was not good. And I wasn't really impressed with the Devils last night, to be quite honest. I was not primarily happy with some of the play. I understand that you're moving the lines around and all that, but that was for preseason. You don't move the lines around now on opening night. Don't understand that move. I'm sure the coaches listening to this podcast will be like, this guy is an idiot. Maybe I am. What do I know? But it just doesn't make sense to me. Are you still trying to feel this team out? Wasn't that what you're supposed to do at preseason? Maybe mix and match lines? By the way, congratulations to Alexander Holtz scoring his first NHL goal last night. But here's another problem. As soon as he scored, boom, another letdown, another quick letdown. And you know what? That has to stop. You brought Palat in here for a reason. Palat's not a perfect player, but I like to see how the Devils react for tomorrow against the Detroit Red Wings that are led by Steve Yzerman, who literally built the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I got to tell you, the Devils better show up. The fans are going to show up tomorrow night. You better put on a better showing, more grit, more feistiness. You got to fight back. We need leaders on this team. That's why we got Palat. But it takes time. It takes time. And, I hate to say it to Palat, but welcome. Welcome to New Jersey. You're not in Tampa anymore. Let's see. The Art Pimpin on the YouTube Live says 2 primary assists and only 16 minutes of ice time. That's insane. Didn't they have like a 20-shot advantage when he was on the ice? I didn't look at the statistics at all. I know there's a lot of analytics people that said that Bratt was off the charts yesterday. Again, he's one of your star players, and I know it's an 82-game season, but hockey is a game of emotion, a game of momentum, and that's not how you want to start out of the gates. There was no reason for that to hold him back. But if that's, Lindy responds back by playing Bratt 25 minutes. Is Novo going to ask, did you burn him out? No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I mean, Ryan Novozinsky, asked the hard questions, the fastballs as well, the high heaters, which we all like. But they're legitimate questions because there are legitimate issues with this team that still hasn't been resolved. Well, at least they didn't give up any shorthanded goals last night. I mean, we talked about that on Devils After Darks. Scotty at Sirius XM, Liquid Metal, and I were talking about that. And you got to, Nate Milbank, Facebook Live, I mean, it's October. It's critical. This is a competitive division. This is where you're supposed to pad on the points. I even said that last season, the 8-5-3 start. You have to pad on the points. You're going to need these points because there's a lot of 3-point games in today's NHL. 3-point games for overtime losses, shootout losses, whatever. You got to get these 2 solid points. You got to get these 2 solid points. And tomorrow night at Prudential Center, Devils Red Wings, we'll be celebrating at American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place. If you're listening right now in your car, going to the game, you better get there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a fun time. Shorts Guy, Beer Baron, we're beaming in Vinny Parisi, pucksandpitchforks.com from Chicago. 3 minutes left. That's how short this podcast is because I'm going to end it at 16 minutes. And that's as much time that Jesper Bratt spent on the ice in Philadelphia. Can you believe that? By the way, we're going to have a little fun with this because I already talked to American Whiskey today. We're going to have $16 beer pitcher specials at American Whiskey tomorrow night in honor of Ryan Novozinsky of NJ.com asking that question. And you can walk off happy because of that special. Yingling, Bud, whatever. $16 beer pitcher specials in honor of Ryan Novozinsky's question at American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place, across the street from Prudential Center, right next to Championship Plaza. You can't miss us. And I got a 2-minute warning. I got 2 more minutes of this podcast. I want to thank all those listening in. I hope to see everybody tomorrow. It's going to be crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm setting up. We're going to have some special guests. We don't know what time they're going to be coming on. It's going to be a floating schedule, really. We're going to start the live stream around 4:20 p.m. tomorrow. It's going to, for all those that are still at home, going to the game, or you're on the train, you could do a live look-in and all the fun, because you'll be entering the fun zone. You will be entering the fun zone at American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place, the Let's Go Devils podcast. Short Sky Beer Baron. And then also after the game, post-game, Devils After Dark, Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal, and I will host Devils After Dark, the post-game edition of the Let's Go Devils podcast. We got less than a minute left, but thank you, folks, for tuning in on this Friday night. But if you're listening to this tomorrow, which is Saturday, go to American Whiskey. We got some other specials as well. We're going to be talking beefalytics with Chico Resch tomorrow. So you better get those hamburgers, folks, because there's going to be a lot of beef. 30 seconds left. I'm going to use every minute to tell you there's going to be a lot of beef at American Whiskey, a lot of beers, a lot of fun. It will be the fun zone. I can tell you that. You better be there, be square. And if you're not going to be there, join us on the live stream. 7, 6. This is the Woo Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.